Hello, everybody, and welcome to this demo video of the drug and alcohol testing software by TATSoft Apps. What you're looking at here is the logon screen, and I already put in the system and manager that the system shipped with, and we're going to go ahead and log in. I wanted to say right off the bat that as soon as you create another username, you should probably delete this system username, and you can do that from the security window, and I'm going to show all that in a minute. So let's just go ahead and log on. What I want to do today is go through each one of the buttons. I'm not going to show actually doing a lot of things because we have videos on our YouTube channel that'll show you all the things I'm going to show you today. There's a separate video for each one that you can actually see it in action. What I wanted to do with this overall video, the one we have out there previous to this one is a couple years old, and there's been a lot of enhancements since that video was created. So we wanted to create a new one. All right, first off, you'll notice here, I wanted to clear this up. This clearinghouse alert with question mark is saying no. What this is if you've entered any data into the system in the last 3 days that is non-negative test value, in other words, like positive for marijuana or whatever, this would show up on this clearinghouse alert would say yes. And that would tell you that you probably need to want to go over here to the Manage MRO Clearinghouse Reporting and go ahead and report that to the clearinghouse. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I just wanted to clear up what this alert is all about. Okay, so how do you get data into a software system? You'll notice we already have some demo data. I wanted to say right off the bat that this is all fictitious data. These are made up names, made up data, and we have 73 records just for demo purposes. The first thing I wanted to mention is one of the newest enhancements that we have down here, and it's called the quick search. If you had hundreds of names in here, you can always sort any of these columns by clicking on the column header. And you'll notice that I clicked on last name and it sorted them by last name. You can always find a record that way. But if you have hundreds in here, that could be a little cumbersome. So we've got this quick search right here. And you can enter any name in here. Let's say I'm going to enter Jenkins. And then I'm going to say find. And it'll bring me up all of the individuals that have a last name of Jenkins. Here we have two, William and Chris. And then you can select whichever one of these you want to work on, add a test result or whatever you want to do, edit a record or edit a result. And then when you're finished, you can reset the table and it'll bring all the data back. And we also have that on the history window, the quick search, and it's on some other windows as well. All right. So the first thing you probably want to discuss is how you get data into any software system. And there are basically two ways. You can enter them manually or you can import them. So let's go ahead and look at the Add New Employee button. This is how you would add new records. And here are the input fields. You'll notice that the data we capture is in these column headers here. Okay. So if we want to add a new employee, we're going to have to enter an ID, first name, last name, birth date's optional. The company names, once you create a record with a company name, it'll show up in this drop-down box. You never have to type it again. If it's not here yet, when you create a new employee and his company's not in here yet, you would simply type the name of the company here, and then the next time you open up this drop-down box, the company will be here. Also, if you're going to be entering test results as you add an employee, you would fill out these fields down here. You'll notice we have an autofill for today there, which is nice. And also the test results here, you never have to type in a test result. All the test results that are sanctioned by the government on the DOT MIS data collection form are in this drop-down box. There's over 100 of them. You never have to type one in. All right, so to enter a name, you would enter the ID. Now, some companies don't actually have IDs, and rather than them having to make up an ID, we have this button here, generate a random ID. So that'll generate a random ID for you if you don't have any. Of course, if you do, you'll want to put the real ID that you have in here. But if not, you can generate them. So that's kind of nice. So you can add these five values here above this line and actually add that record. You may not have test results yet, and you just want to get this person in the database. So if you don't have test results yet, that's fine. Just go ahead and add the record with just these five. And if you do have them, go ahead and put them here. And you can put one here, and then you can go back here to the main. Let's go back to main, and you can add new test results by selecting that individual and saying add new test result here. Okay, So here's the test result that's already in here for that person. You could change this and add another one. And as you add test results, they'll all show up on the history window. The main window is your working window, and it'll just show the latest test result that you entered, but the history window will show all of them. All right. So that's how you enter data manually. You can also import data. Select file and import button here to let you go out and select wherever you have that comma separated value file to use for imports. And of course, that comma separated value file, I'm going to cancel here. As you selected a file to import, the values would show up in this window and you could look at them. You could scroll up and down, scroll left and right, and look at them before you actually click on the validate and import records. One of the things I want to mention was we validate the records first without actually doing any imports. And if it finds a bad record, it tells you which record that is, and you can go fix it and then just start your import all over again. You don't have to worry about starting it where the record failed because no records were actually imported until they all validated. So that can save you a lot of work. You just go fix that record and re-import them. You don't have to start at a certain place. You just re-import the whole thing because they don't get imported until they get validated. So that's important. Okay, so that's how you get data in, either manually or using the import button. All right, so let's go look at the get random selections. And again, I'm not actually going to do these. There's videos on our YouTube channel that show each of these features, just that feature, in the video. So you can see it in depth. But you'll notice here you can do by company, and you can select more than one company if you want. You'll notice here total records to choose from changes as I select companies. That's telling you how many employees are in this case, Magna Transport and York Health. If I take off Magna Transport, you see the number drop down. So that can help you determine, the numbers that you want to pick down here as well. And also you can do it for consortiums as well as individual companies. And we're going to look at the managed consortium window in a little bit. But all of the companies that are in the medical consortium, all their employees will be included in the selection for this report. And you can see that the medical consortium has 49 employees in all the companies that are in it. You can select by drug, alcohol, drug and alcohol, and you can select alternates. And you do it by hard, you can do it by hard number or percent. If you want to generate notification letters for everyone that gets selected, you simply click that button and the notification letters will be generated as well. So let's say we just did one real quick here for York Health, and I'll just say we want 5 drug. I'm just going to do all hard numbers. 2 alcohol. We want 1 drug and alcohol, and we want 1 alternate. Okay, so that should select 9 records. And I'm saying generate notification letters as well. So just click this generate random names, and there are the 5 records. And if I printed that create random report, it's telling me where it was saved at, and you can use Microsoft Explorer or the report viewer button to quickly locate any report. And let's just go ahead and show that now because this report viewer button, and this is also telling you that the notification letters were generated and where they are at. This report viewer button is a fairly new enhancement, and you can always go out and get your reports using Microsoft's Explorer, or you can use this button. This button, this window here has what can take you to any of the reports that the software generates. Like we just generated that random selection report, so I can click on that file next to that, and it takes me right to the directory. And there's the random report that we just created. We picked 5 drug, 2 alcohol, 1 drug and alcohol, and 1 alternate. And this is what that report looks like. You can see it there. Um, and that report locator button will just take you there without having to use Microsoft Explorer. Okay. And also you can put your company name here if you're a clinic or whatever, and that'll also show up on the report. So that's your random selection window. Again, it's very versatile. Allows you to do a hard number or percent. Um, you can do drug, you can do alcohol, drug and alcohol. You can select alternates, and you can generate notification letters. Okay. Create and manage consortiums. It's a real easy window. You notice we have 2 consortiums here. The way you create a new consortium is enter the name here and click new consortium, and it'll show up here in consortiums and save it. And then once you have it here, you can select companies, available companies, and add them or delete them. Let's say that for the medical consortium here, I have IACU Inc. and York Health. Let's say that I wanted to add Argos Tower to that consortium. I would just simply, here's my available companies. I would simply click on Argos Tower and say add it to the consortium. And it's telling me that the company was saved to the consortium. And you see here that Argos Tower is now in the medical consortium and will be included in any random selection windows or the DOT MIS data collection form. When you select a medical consortium, Argos Tower will now, his employees will now be included in that. And the way you take them out is to select it and say remove consortium. And now we're back to where we were before. The create and save consortium report is nice. It's a report that lists the consortiums and what companies are in each consortium. And you can see those reports on our website in the reports window. Okay. So that's the consortiums. Manage external lab connections. Let's go over that real quick. We have two in here now. We have LabCorp and Quest. The way you add them is put a name here for your connection name, and then put the URL address here. And you can copy and paste the URL address in here, and then say Add Connection. When you do that, it'll show up in this drop-down box. And the beauty of these is, let's say here for Quest, if I click on this URL button, it actually opens up the Quest window for you right here, as you can see. And then you can cut and paste from Quest into the drug and alcohol testing software. Okay. All right. So DOT MIS data collection. This thing saves people a ton of time. So we're going to actually show this one, 2023 0101. I'm going to do the whole year, which I do all the time for these demo videos to get the most data. Again, you know, this is all fictitious data. I can do by company or I can do by consortium. Now, this is the DOT MIS data collection form values. This can take people weeks to generate these numbers, but this does it automatically for you. All right, so I've selected the begin and end date, and I said 2020 here. I wanted to say 2023. Again, when you select these data, it's always contingent on the begin and end date. So I'm doing it for the whole year here. You'd probably be doing it for a quarter. All right, so let's say companies, and I want to say York Health. And again, you can do for more than one company. But let's just do for York Health and say get their drug results for the whole year here. And this is the data that would go on the DOT MIS data collection form. This is the drug side of that form, and here is the alcohol side of that form. All the numbers are generated for you. They are accurate, and you never have to go through and figure out these numbers ever again. Okay, alcohol and drug. And also down here, if you print this report, save the reports, it'll tell you the company you picked, or in the case of a consortium, if I did it, it would tell me the consortium name, uh, medical consortium, and then the companies are these two companies here on the report. And again, here's your drug results, here's your alcohol results. Okay, so this window saves people a ton of work. That's the DOT MIS data collection form window. Okay. All right, so now let's go look at a couple graphs. We got two different kinds of graphs here, and I'll go ahead and put some data in here for this as well. Kind of wanted to keep this video short, but some things you just have to show. All right, so I'm messing up my dates here. All right, so again, I'm doing it for the whole year, January to December, and I'm going to select a company. I'm going to say York Health and say generate results bar graph. And what this graph is telling me that for York Health, the company that I selected for these dates, the whole year of 2023, 41 employees, they did 35 drug tests and 5 alcohol tests. So that's the number of tests that they performed for 41 employees. Very important information. And again, I can do it for consortium as well. Okay. So for the medical consortium, employees 49, they've done 40 drug tests, 6 alcohol tests. So that's that graph. Let's go back to the main and look at this more detailed graph. And again, 2023, 0101, 2023, 12, 31. And we're going to do this one for York Health again and get the bar graph. Now, this graph is even more detailed. It tells you how many employees that York Health has, how many tests that they performed in between this begin and end date. Again, you could pick any date you want here. 40 tests, What were the results? Out of the 40 tests, 31 were negative, 7 were positive, and 2 were neither, like shy lung or whatever. Okay. So very useful information. You can print these charts. You can right click on here and you can save it as, as a ping file. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. A lot of things you can do with this as well as print it. Okay. And again, I should mention every window has a help button and they really are helpful and we encourage you to look at them. They're specific to that particular window. All right. So now we've done that. Let's look at the clearinghouse reporting. Remember, right here it's telling me we don't have any right now in the last 3 days, that are positive values. But let's go look here. So it's basically, as you well know, if you enter a drug or alcohol result that is non-negative, you have to report that to the clearinghouse within 3 business days. And that's why we have this check mark here. You can enter whatever begin end date you want here, but this check mark will put today's date as the end date and then 2 days prior for the begin date. And then you can select by company. You can select all companies, or you can select, whatever companies you want, as many as you want. This button just allows you to select all, and you can do it for consortiums as well. And you would put your name here if you're a clinic, or that would be sent to these companies, this report, or if you're just doing drug and alcohol testing for your company, you can put your name in here as well. And then you would generate your MRO clearinghouse report. And again, there are videos that describe this on this YouTube channel, and there are on our reports page on our website. You can see a MRO clearinghouse report. It basically gives the information about the employee that failed the drug test, his ID, first name, last name, what company he works for, who the MRO was, when the test date was, and what the result was. Okay. And this will actually allow you to go out. This one here tells you about the CFR 382, and this one will allow you to actually go in and log into the FM CSA clearinghouse to go ahead and do your report. Okay, so let's go back to main here. Alrighty, so the report viewer window we've already talked about, the import data window we've already talked about. Let's talk about the database backup. This is real easy to do. This allows you to go out and select a location to back up your database to. And we, of course, recommend that you don't do it on the computer that you have the software on. Do it on a zip drive or an external drive. Select here. And then go ahead and cancel that. And then you can name it here. And we also suggest that in the name, you can put whatever you want, but I would suggest that you put the date as well so that you'll know when that data was backed up. And then you just click backup database and it'll copy your database for you. All right. We're going to go here to the employee, to the history window in a minute. I just want to talk about generating a random participation letter. And the way you do that is click this button. You can put your name here if you're a clinic. And then you would select all the companies will show up here. And you basically, this just generates a random participation letter, which you can also see from the reports window on our website, and there's videos on it as well. And it basically says, what software was used and that they participate in a random selection program. And you can also add the employees here if you click this yes. Okay. Company roster report, you just select any row that has the company name that you want a roster report for, and you click this and it will generate a roster report for, in this case, Magnet Transport. Okay. All right, I wanted to talk real quick about the company directory and the employee directory. They both work the same way, so let's just look at the company directory. Here, you'll notice that this is all populated with all of your data here for employees. And in this case, Susan Miller is highlighted. We can put in her phone, her email address, her address, and any notes for Susan that would go here. And you can also import notes into here. And this notes field, there's no limit to it. Now, this is a new, sort of a new button right here, copy employee email addresses to clipboard. If I click that, it's telling me that the email addresses for the employee directory have been copied to your computer's clipboard. To use them in any email program, just open your email and paste these addresses into the to field. And this will allow you to do mass emailings for all your employees here. And go back here, the company directory has the same thing. Copy your email addresses here. Okay. So we did that for the employees. I think we only have like 3 employees that we've actually got data for in here that have email addresses. So if I went here and opened up uh, this one we did before, I'm gonna delete that, and then did a control V, you can see that it's got the 3 email addresses that we have in the employee directory. And this you would just control V that into the to field in any email program. So it's for mass emailings. Uh, it's a nice feature. Okay, so now what do we want to talk about here? Um, the employee and company reports generator. We're going to go ahead and put a date in here so I can show this one. 101 and then 20, 23, 12, 31. Okay, so we got the whole year in here again for 2023. You can put your name here, your clinic's name or whatever, and that'll show up on the report. And let's say that we wanted to create an employee report for the begin date. Remember, everything is based on begin and end date. So we're doing it for the whole year. You may be just doing this for a quarter. But let's just pick Mary Murphy, and I want an employee report for Mary Murphy for the whole year of 2023. And it says your employee report was saved to the drug testing reports, employee reports folder on your hard drive. Uh, the data for your employee report now is visible in this window. And to get everything back, you can click the this reload viewing table. So this is what the report would look like, and it's out there right now, and we could go look at it. But you can, see the reports on our website. But the report would give you her Mary's ID, her name, her birth date, the company she works for, and she's only had one test in that year. The MRO and lab was Doug and Quest. The test date was this test date, and she was positive for marijuana. So that's her report. You can do the same thing for companies over here. And then to get all the data back, just click on the reload viewing table. Okay, and it loads all the data back. The other thing that I want to talk about from the history window. So this is your employee reports and your company reports. It shows like if we did it for a company. Let's go ahead and do one for a company. So let's say that we wanted to do one for York Health, and we've already got the dates in there. So we just say great company report, and there's the York Health report right there. You can see they have some data. All the companies here is York Health, as you can see here in the company name. And here are all the employees for York Health that had tests for the whole year of 2023. And it shows their IDs, their first name, their last name, their birth dates. The company is all York Health because that's who we selected. Here's your Emerald Labs. There's the test dates, and there's all the results right there. And that's what's on the report. And then we can say reload viewing table data, and everything comes back. The other thing that I wanted to talk, and this one has the search capability too, where you can enter a last name and just say find, like we showed on the main window. Um, like let's say we wanted to find Mary Murphy again, we would just put Murphy in here for a last name and then say find, and it would just bring up her, and then you could select her and do what you want to do with her. And then again, you can reset table here. The other thing I wanted to show is a fairly new enhancement is this data metrics window. And this thing is really nice. So I'm going to put some data in here and show it. 2023 0101 2023 1231. So we're doing it for the whole year again. And again, you'd probably be doing this for quarters. Let's do it for York Health. And we're saying get metrics. This is nice. This is telling me that York Health has 41 employees. They have done 40 tests for 98% test employee ratio. 35 tests drug, 5 were alcohol. Okay. So 41 employees have done 40 tests. 35 were drug, 5 were alcohol. On the drug, 5 failed, which for a failure rate of 14%, and drug test completion rate of 85%. Okay. Same over here for the alcohol metrics. Number of alcohol tests 5, alcohol failure rate 4. Remember, this is skewed data. Alcohol failure rate would be 80%, and alcohol test completion rate is 12%. So if you know you had to do alcohol 10%, you're over it. Over here on the drug side, the completion ratio is 85%, so you're way over if you have to do 40. And you can also do this for a consortium and get your metrics data for consortium. And it tells you, what you selected here. So this consortium has 48 employees. Number of tests were 46. They did 40 drugs, 6 alcohol. Employee test ratio, 96%. This is, if you're a clinic and you can send this to your companies, you'll impress them, okay? With this data metrics information. This and the graphs and the reports, you're giving them a lot of information. Okay, this is a pretty recent enhancement. All right, so that more or less talks about that more or less talks about the data metrics window and things that are available on the history window. I think that we have went over everything. Oh, the newest one of the newest enhancements is the security manager. I want to talk about that. Now, when you click that to go to the security manager, you notice that you're having to log on. And you might be asking, why do I have to log on to get to the security manager window? Because I've already logged on to get into the system. And the reason that is, and watch this log on go to logged on for you here. You can see that you're logged on now. The reason that is we allow you to change your username and password, and we don't want you changing other people's username and passwords. So you logged in. This was the default, the system and manager. This is what the username and password that the software shipped with. We would suggest that as soon as you create another username and password, you get rid of this for security purposes. But for the purposes of this demo, it's still in there. So you'll notice that I logged on with System and Manager, and over here, change your username and or password. The only one that's available here is yours. That's because we made you log on. So the only one you can change is yours. Now, from this window, you can add new users. You can delete users. All the users will show up here, and you can delete them. Or, again, you can change your own username and password. On the add new user, we do enforce, you see this question box here? We do enforce this. Password requirements, they must be at least 8 characters long, must have at least one upper and one lowercase letter, at least one number, and at least one special character. And that is for security purposes. There are like trillions of combinations of that, believe it or not, for 8 characters with these criteria. Okay, so it enforces it here when you're adding one. When you're adding a user, it'll enforce it. And when you're updating your user, it'll enforce it over here as well. Now, you notice here a security question. So we got these questions here. You just pick whichever question you want. You say whatever and just enter something here. I'm going to put Rocky for favorite pet. And once I save this user, if you ever forgot your user, we have a button on the login window where it says forgot user. And when you click that for the user that you entered here, it will ask you favorite pet. And if you enter Rocky, it will give you your password. And that's called key phrase password retrieval. Okay, so that's the security maintenance manager window. I think I have now discussed everything that I wanted to do. I'm trying to keep this video to around 20 minutes so that people will actually watch it all. Again, remember that every one of these features is available in a separate video that talks just about that feature on our YouTube channel. And our website has a reports window that shows all the reports. There's like 26 reports and graphs in the software. It shows all of them. Each product has screenshots where you can see all the screenshots for the software. Everything is out there. It's just that this main soup to nuts video that we have was getting out of date because of all the new enhancements. So we felt like we needed to make another one. And I think I have covered everything I want to cover here. I want to thank you so much for watching and hope to talk to you soon. Have a good day. Bye bye.